So what we're going to be doing today, we're using Braining Camp. I'm sorry about yesterday's videos that it didn't have sound. So hopefully this one does. So I'm going to go ahead and start with clicking on Braining Camp from your north side portal. So I'm going to click on that. Again, you are going to be using the two color counters. So you're going to click on the two color counters. Then you're going to change the status of this. So we don't want a basic status. We want to work with integer chips. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. So now you should have a plus, a minus, and a zero pairs. So remember, this is your zero pairs. We talked about it in the warm up yesterday. You saw it in the video, even though you weren't able to hear any sound, you were able to see it. So what you're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and now use problems that have plus and minus. Yesterday they were all plus, so hopefully that helps you. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and put as many zero pairs out into the board, but leave the middle part empty, because that's where we're going to show it. So what we're doing is we're creating kind of a sea of zero pairs. Now, even though I'm putting all these on the board, you could see that there is no value whatsoever in this board. So I went ahead and put as many as I could, and there. So we're leaving this empty because that's where we're going to do our problem. Now, yesterday, what you were doing, you were actually just putting the numbers that it has. So if I have -5 plus 2. So I'm going to show that so you could see. So I'm going to go ahead and put my -5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to go ahead plus a 2. So there's 2 right there. So in here, I do have zero pairs. I have a negative and a positive, a negative and a positive. So I'm going to click on the top corner and highlight all those 4. Even though I highlighted this other one, it won't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and create the zero pairs. So I clicked on the ones that shows that. So now I have more zero pairs. I take them away and I'm left over with -3. So -3 is going to be your value for this problem. So let's try another one. So I'm going to erase this. If I could get the eraser. And in order to get rid of it, I'm just going to go ahead and X this out. So again, I'm going to start with the problem. So I have negative. Well, let's start with a positive now. So let's start with positive. So positive 3 plus -2. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Now, when you have a positive and negative next to each other, you're going to see that there's going to be parentheses. That's just to keep the plus and the minus from getting confused. So they don't want to separate those. So you'll see those parentheses. So we're going to start again with 3 positives and then 2 negatives. And then we're going to go ahead and create those zero pairs. So I have them there. So my remainder is just 1 positive. So that means that my value is +2. And you don't need to put the plus sign. I mean, not +2, +1. Sorry. That should be 1. Oops. I thought I had the eraser. Okay, so that's going to be 1. Just 1. Okay, so now that we've reviewed what we've done yesterday, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do one more of what we've done what we did yesterday. Sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more. So we have -1 plus -3. So again, I'm going to get my negatives, -1, and then I have -3. And so here we don't have 0 pairs. So I can't circle anything because there's no positive and a negative. So make sure that it's only when it has a positive and a negative. So there's no 0 pairs. So my value is going to be -4. So remember, you have to have a positive and a negative to create 0 pairs. And if you look at all the 0 pairs around, it has positive and negatives. So even though we have all these 0 pairs, this value is still -4 because they don't have a partner, so it stays that way. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that so we could continue with other examples. So let's go ahead and erase this. So let's start with now a minus. So when we have subtraction problems, it actually means that you're putting in the first number and then putting in the number. Well, let me start with a simpler one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 5 minus 2. So I have 5 positive. So 5 positive, I'm taking away, because minus means take away, 2 positives. So that means if I go ahead and take this away, I'm left over with 3 positives. So that's what you did when you were in elementary. You were taking away things. You would circle it, take it away. So it's the same thing that we're doing here, but now we're using positive and negatives. So this was simple, and this is just to show you how you needed to do it. So let me go ahead and erase all this. Get rid of the positives because we're going to do another problem. So now I'm going to do another problem, which is -5. And I'm taking away -2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my negatives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whenever you see the minus, that means you're taking away. So I'm going to take away 2 negatives. So that means I could take away these 2 negatives. So I'm left over with 3 negatives. So that's my value. Okay. So when you're able to do that, then you just take it away. Here's another one that we might need to do something else. So let's go ahead and remove this. So here's the problem. I'm going to have -3 minus 5. So let's do again. We're going to go ahead and do 3 negatives. But I'm taking away 5 positives. I have no positives whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down 0 pairs. And even though I'm putting 0 pairs, I'm not going to change the value of -3 because those represent 0 pairs. Now, those 0 pairs, I added 5 because I need to take away 5 positives. So let's go ahead, and what I need you to do is highlight them. And if you notice the second one, it says break, you're going to go ahead and break it. So you see how it broke the 0 pairs. So now I could go ahead and take away the 5 positives. And we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 negatives. So my answer is -8, or my value is -8. So again, you had -3, but we didn't have positives, so I needed to add 0 pairs, break them apart, and take away the positives. So let's try another one. So erase all this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put +2. and I'm taking away 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put my positive 2. And I'm going to take away 3 positives, but I only have 2 positives. So if I add one more 0 pair and break it up, then I'm able to, I'm able to take away the 3 positives. So I'm left with 1 negative. So my value is -1. Looks complicated, but it's really simple if you have your sea of zeros available for you. So let's try another one. So let's do this one. I'm keeping the numbers small because -5, you're taking away, actually, I need to erase that. Taking away 3. Oops, I need the marker. 3. Okay. So again, we have negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whatever you put on the board and you see a minus signs, you're only putting the first number. Then you determine what you need to do. So I need to take away 3 positives. I don't have positives. So remember to say it, take away 3, and I don't have positives. So again, I'm going to add 3 positives to get my 0 pairs, break them apart, and I could take away my 3 positives. And I think I already did this one. So that's going to be -8. Okay, so sorry about that one. So let's go ahead and do one more, and hopefully you get the hang of this. Okay. So remember, whatever you don't have, that's what you need to take away. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 minus -2. So again, I'm going to start with the positives. So I'm taking away 2 negatives, but I don't have negatives. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my 0 pairs. And I do need 2 negatives because of that. So I'm going to break them apart. And now I could take away the 2 negatives. Take away the 2 negatives. And my answer is +4. So hopefully you're getting the hang of this and trying to figure out how this works, because it actually helps you out a lot if you're using these color counters. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. So I'm going to do one more. So I have negative, oops. Well, let's do, okay, let's do +3. I'm going to take away 5. So +3, so I'm going to go ahead and put my 3. But I need to take away 5. So that means I have 3, but I need 2 more positives in order to solve this. So I'm going to put my 2 positives. Okay, break it up. So now I could take away the 5 positives, and I'm left over with -2. So let's see if you could predict the next one, because I am hoping you're getting the hang of it and seeing it the way it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So what if I have -1 minus 1? Let's see. So I have -1, but I'm taking away a +1. Do you think this is going to be 0? Let's think. So I have to take a positive, but do I have a positive? I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, break it up. So now I could take away this positive, take away this positive. So I'm left with -2. That is awesome, isn't it, the way this is working out? Well, let's look at it differently. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. So I'm going to work with the same numbers, starting it out. So I'm going to do it again, but now I'm going to go ahead and -1 minus a -1. So do you think this one will be a 0? So we're going to put -1. So we have a -1, and we're going to take away a -1. So you're taking away -1. So I'm taking it away. So this becomes what? There's nothing left over. So my answer is 0. So hopefully you are understanding about the sea of zeros, where you're trying to take away 0 pairs, you breaking them up to in order for you to take away what you need. Now when it's plus, you're just putting one number then the other and looking for 0 pairs. But when it's subtraction, you're trying to see what there is and what you could take away. If you don't have enough to take away, then you go ahead and add those zeros pairs. So go ahead and try it out. Remember, you always have Braining Camp to help you. So make sure that you create your sea of zeros as you're working along your assignment. Good luck on your assignment. Bye bye.